X out there in Whisper Nation. We're doing another Face-Off Friday this week, and there's nothing more American than AJ Green versus Stefon Diggs for the Face-Off Friday. Johnny's just got to ask himself, what's he going to do when the Travamaniacs come for you?
Right here.
Hey, that was pretty good, but I gotta tell Whisper Nation, what you gotta do is jam that thumbs up button and please subscribe to our channel if you love our content. Now, Travis, as you know, it is time for that Mad Dog coin flip.
All right, we are deciding between AJ Green, which will be heads, and tails will be Stefon Diggs. It is Big Travis flip, and he gets heads. So he gets AJ Green. I get Stefon Diggs. Let the battle begin.
All right, dude, you finally did. You wanted your guy. You wanted AJ Green. You got him. You got him.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's a little ironic, Johnny, because every time we do this, I argue with you about the coin flip. And I end up getting a guy I kind of like. I make a case for. I wanted AJ Green coming out of this. I don't know after I make this case if I'm going to like it. We'll see what you have to say about Stefon Diggs. The bottom line here is I think both of these guys have shown on the field that they're really good. They've shown that they have the potential, but what's going to come all together in their new situations? New situation for AJ Green is obviously that Joe Burrow is coming to town, so we've got to see what's going on there. But the last time we saw AJ Green, it was 2017. He finished as wide receiver 10. Johnny, you know what was popular in 2017? Kendall Jenner's Pepsi commercial. Beyonce was having twins, dude. She was pregnant with twins. And then AJ Green.
In 2017, we just started this podcast show. That's what happened in 2017.
Dude. There was no Hulkamaniac references then, dude.
No, it was there was no excitement when we talked about fantasy football. It was
AJ Green and Julio Jones were at the top of draft boards at wide receiver for sure. That year, though, capped off a run for AJ Green. 6 of the previous 7 years, which he had 1,000 yards or at least 6 touchdowns. So he at least had those numbers. The question coming in, Johnny, is does AJ Green still have it? There's no way to really know this. I can't really tell you 100% that he's going to come out there and give you 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. Andy Dalton's gone. That guy used to pepper him with targets. But I will say this. He's got a shot to be the team's number 1 this year. And the Bengals last year, only 5 teams threw more than the Cincinnati Bengals last year. A lot of passing volume in Zach Taylor's first year. The other thing is only 3 teams scored less passing touchdowns than the Bengals, Johnny. So dare I say there's some positive passing touchdown regression coming to this team? Is there any coincidence that with AJ Green off the field, this team threw for less touchdowns than a lot of the league? I think there's regression here back to the mean, meaning they're going to throw a lot and there's going to be some touchdowns. Does he have the safe floor of his partner in crime, his teammate over there, Tyler Boyd? No, but he's got a bigger ceiling. This is AJ Green we're talking about here. So if he becomes the number 1 in this offense, he stays healthy. I know these are big ifs. I don't see a way that he doesn't finish as a wide receiver 15 or better in PPR formats because he's going to have that touchdown upside.
Yeah, I mean, that was a well-said argument. I mean, the things that I have to say against AJ Green, they're just time, right? It's like that's the biggest concern I have. It's the last time that I saw him. It's been quite a while, but when we did see him on the field, he did produce. So I definitely would give it to you that there is that chance that if he does stay healthy the whole time, he is a very, very good and productive wide receiver for you. I have no qualms about that. But when I'm looking at this argument and I'm looking at this face-off between Stefon Diggs and AJ Green, Travis, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. The excitement and the fire that you came out with in this episode was more excitement and fire than I had doing research on either one of these guys. Because here's the facts that we do know, okay? Stefon Diggs, I do like him. I like him as a wide receiver. I like the spunk, the attitude, the flair in which he just plays the game. It's exciting. But you're looking at what he's giving you right now. He's coming off the board 603, which is the cheapest that you can get him in his career, and unless you're going back to 2017 when he wasn't really drafted back then. But that's a good value. You like that. He's coming off as the wide receiver 25, a little bit of a discount considering that, hey, he finished as a wide receiver 22 last year. So you're like, okay, like, all right, you look at his stats from last season, got over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, which you just said you liked for AJ Green when he played last time. And so it's like, yeah, okay, like there's some nice pieces to Stefon Diggs. And then you look at where he went to Buffalo Bills. You know, I'm a big fan of John Brown. And you look at where John Brown finished in this offense last year, wide receiver 20. He was a wide receiver 22 on a points per game basis, so 14.7 points per game.
Yeah, so Buffalo can support that.
Exactly. But here's where it starts to break down for me and the Stefon Diggs, and then I get a little bit confused and flustered, Travis, and that's the honest truth. And I'll be sincere with Whisper Nation because that's what I do. John Brown, when you break it down, yeah, those numbers are really nice. He got over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns, and you're excited. But then you look at the points per game breakdown. Only 3 times, Travis, did he actually finish better than wide receiver 22. So that means that the majority of the 3 times that he finished above wide receiver 22, he exploded. And that's when he gave you the majority of his points. Now, I want to say, like, I'm looking at John Brown and saying, okay, like, yeah, I did like the fact that there is a supportive a wide receiver there, so you're liking that he could be supported by Stefon Diggs going over there. But then I'm looking at these 2 guys, and I'm like, Travis, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, these guys are so similar. Are they not the same wide receiver? You call me crazy, but last year I told you where they finished. John Brown finished as a wide receiver 20, so 2-spot difference. The targets, there is a 25 target difference between the two. There's a 9 reception difference between the two. You look at the deep balls, they both had 28. They both had 6 touchdowns. They both had over 1,000 yards, and they both averaged right around the same points per game, 14.
Sounds like maybe we should have done this face-off between John Brown and Stefon Diggs.
I almost thought that would be the better face-off. But even then, it's like, yeah, I would take John Brown just because of draft stock value. But there's so many question marks. And then you look at the guys that are going around, and I know AJ Green and John Brown are going very similar, and that's why we chose these 2. But Travis, tell me that those 2 wide receivers aren't the last 2 wide receivers in this cluster of 9 wide receivers. You've got DJ Chark, T.Y. Hilton, Stefon Diggs, Devontae Parker, Terry McLaurin, Jarvis Landry, A.J. Green, and Michael Gallup. Those guys are all going within 10 draft picks of each other. They're all going in consecutive order at wide receivers. And I could honestly make a better argument than I'm doing right now between A.J. Green and Stefon Diggs, that I would take those 2 last out of all those 8 or 9 wide receivers I just talked about. So, I don't mind Stefon Diggs where you're getting him. I just think that's probably the max he's going to finish. I would be surprised if he was better than a wide receiver 20, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I think to summarize Whisper Nation, we basically say, look, if you have to choose between these 2 guys, look at what we said here. I'm taking AJ Green. I still believe so. I convinced myself a little bit on that upside. Johnny's probably leaning Stefon Diggs just based on the youth and what we've seen already.
The consistency is just there.
The main question here, or the main takeaway here, is make your choice based on what's available in these wide receiver range, because there are some better guys there. But we want to know what you think. Comment below and let us know. As always, for Johnny Game Time Hicks, I'm Big Travie. Have a safe and happy 4th of July. We're the Fantasy Whispers. Peace.
Peace. Make sure you get that draft kit.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Whisperers podcast. You can hear more from John and Travis on Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at TF Whisperers.